All right, everybody, we are live. This is episode 8 of Jazz Says Anything. Turn this music off. There we go. So this is episode 8. Less than a week to the Super Bowl 57, and the Grammys were last night, and Pro Bowl, and more discussions in my banners. Okay, so nobody's watching me yet, so we'll see who comes in. All right, so like I say every time in the beginning, if you like what you see or hear, click the subscribe button at the bottom, the right hand corner. It's on all the whole podcast from beginning to end. Okay, I got no guest hosts today, so we will go right into what I want to first talk about, which back last Monday was January 31st, 30th. Didn't talk about it because it wasn't truly time. It is, as most people know, if not all people know, Black History Month. And now, what does it really mean to me? Okay, obviously, I'm a 46-year-old white man who has really not dealt with a lot of African American issues in my lifetime. I've known a lot, especially in my adult life. So I do want to talk about a little history, if you get my drift. So this is the start of why it's in February, which I gotta say I didn't know, I didn't learn in school. The remembrance has its roots in 1926, when historian Carter G. Woodson called for the observance of Negro History Week. Woodson chose February because it marked the birthdays of two Americans who greatly influenced the lives and social condition of African Americans: President Abraham Lincoln, who was born on February 12th, 1809, and abolitionist and former slave Frederick Douglass, whose exact date of birth is unknown, except for it was in February of 1818. So then, if you can find this on the History Channel, or at least the history.com, there is a Origins of Black History Month and the NAACP. Like I just told you about Carter G. Woodson. He was a noted African American historian, scholar, and educator. So the NAACP, if anybody doesn't know, they marked their 110th anniversary on February 12th, 2019. So if I do the math right, that's in the 1800s, right? No, sorry, 1909. So, okay, it actually starts here. It says here, spurred by growing racial violence in the early 20th century, particularly the 1908 race riots in Springfield, Illinois, where a group of African American leaders joined together to form a new permanent civil rights organization, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. February 12th, 1909, on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, was chosen because it was the centennial anniversary of his birth. So that basically is the history of this. I mean, honestly, it hurts me to say how long it's taken to make Black people, African American people, more equal to us who have lived in a better light than they have. And, for me, I grew up in Eatontown, New Jersey. It's a town in Monmouth County where I had some African American friends. Not many. But as I got older, went to high school. Well, actually, I can't say high school. Where I went to high school, we really only had one African American kid in my high school, and that was in my senior class. But that's neither here nor there. If you know my high school, you'll know, you kind of know it's a pretty expensive school to go to, and maybe that was the reason more than anything else why in Monmouth County African Americans didn't go to Christian Brothers or RBC for that matter. Although I do know some that did go to RBC. So it was when I went to college and beyond, when I started working, that's when I started knowing a lot more African American people. Whether it was at UPS where I started, or even Acme, I got to know a lot of people, and most of them are still friends. We've lost touch here and there, but most of them are still friends. I currently work with more than a few African American people now, and I consider them friends. I mean, I don't feel that we have you know, a lot of differences, except maybe our football teams. That's pretty much it. So I don't like the fact that there is the kind of racism in not just New Jersey, but in America and beyond. It disturbs me. It disturbs me that, especially growing up Catholic, growing up how I was taught to love everyone, that there are people in this world, especially Catholics, and I'm going to call it the Catholics here, who don't feel like me, that you feel that you're better than any other person because of your race. That is disturbing. That is disheartening. That is ignorant. You know, I call my African American friends brothers because they are. I feel like they're brothers to me. I lived at one point in Asbury Park, but which is at the time was not predominantly African American. It was a mix of everything and everybody. When I lived in Asbury Park in the early 2000s, so and crime isn't purely African American. It's everywhere. It's every race. It's every creed. But with what you see here, and there's a bunch of firsts, and they're all in the obviously the early 1900s. Famous protesters, famous lawyers, Supreme Court justice. This was a big one. Thurgood Marshall. He needs to be celebrated, like on a daily basis. This man appointed in 1967. There were still race riots going on in 1967, and he was appointed a Supreme Court justice, Thurgood Marshall. That's an amazing feat for any man, let alone a black man. George Washington Carver. We keep going. Senator Hiram Rhodes Revels, elected to the Senate from the state of Mississippi, February 1870 to March 1871. So obviously, he wasn't a long-time senator, but that's interesting. And look, 100 years later, it took the first woman, African American woman, in 1968, where she was elected. Heavyweight champ Jack Johnson. Obviously, most of us know first black baseball player on April 5th, 1947. Maybe you don't know the date, but Jackie Robinson became the first, obviously, African American to play in a Major League Baseball game. First to compete in international tennis. Now, I wonder if anybody or a lot of people know this. If you know history, you probably know it. Althea Gibson, 1956. So in the 50s, there was the first African-American woman to compete in a pro world tennis tour. First black millionaire, billionaire, Oscar winner. Here we go. This is interesting. So self-made millionaire Madam C.J. Walker was born on a cotton plantation in Louisiana and became wealthy after inventing a line of African-American hair care products. She established Madam C.J. Walker Laboratories and is also known for her philanthropy. That's amazing. That really is. First Oscar winner, Hattie McDaniel. I'm not surprised by this one. Oh, wait, I'm wrong. It's not her. First black billionaire before Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan joined the Billionaires Club. It was before these two, which obviously are billionaires now. Robert Johnson became the first African-American billionaire when he sold his cable station that we know today as BET, Black Entertainment Television, in 2001. Okay, if you don't know this one, you're not on this planet or you're probably less than 10 years old. Barack Obama became our first black president in 2008. 98% of us know that. And then obviously this year, first black vice president is Kamala Harris. And obviously woman as well. So there's a lot of, this is interesting site I've never been on before, History Channel with Black History Month. And like I said before, and I'm not trying to say be like me, is I have very, very little to none hate in my heart. It's what I was raised to feel, raised to do, raised to act. And I'm sorry, I can't get with the hate and vitriol that other racist people have. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. And honestly, it's hard to be friendly with people like that. even if it's in jest. And we're we're kind of past the old time when the people of the 50s and 60s talk like that. It's 2023. A lot of those people have died off. Okay, this generation, the 40s, early 50s, maybe a little bit younger. If you're like me, you don't talk like that. You don't say the N word. You don't say other words. You say ignorant. That's the definition of the word. You say ignorant. And I don't mean to be a buzzkill on that, but to leave it at the end like that. But that's what bothers me, is that there's more people not like me than there is like them. All right, so I'll go on to this one. Next topic. Last night's 2023 Grammy Awards, the winners and the performances. Well, I only have the winners here. For best album, can't say I own it. Harry's House by Harry Styles. I like pop. I'm just not big into Harry Styles. Other people nominated. It's some interesting people. So you got Drake. Okay, I know him. Kendrick Lamar, know him. ABBA. ABBA had an album out in 2022. Seriously? When did this happen? And I saw the videos of them. They're obviously older. It's not like it's a recreate of whatever. It's ABBA came out with an album. I didn't go to my iTunes right away, but I might have to upload this because I love old ABBA. Old ABBA. ABBA. I guess it's hard to say ABBA 5 times fast. So yes, ABBA ABBA has an album called Voyage that came out this year. Lizzo was also a nominee. 30, Adele. I gotta say, I've grown to like Adele. It's one of Beth's favorite artists, and I've grown to like her, and that's a very good album. Brandy Carlisle, she's new on the scene. Okay, she's not new. She's new to me. Like, I heard of her last year, and that's the first I ever heard of her. Her wife and 2 kids introduced her for her performance, which I will say, it's one of the few performances I did see, and I wasn't thrilled by it. It was very. I felt like I was laid back. I was about to fall asleep. It wasn't a. She's supposed to be a rocker, and she's not. She didn't rock it, for whatever reason. Bad Bunny. There's another one I'll go with the performance, and I'm not trying to. It's not really Bad Bunny's fault on this one, but most of Bad Bunny's music, if you know it, it's dance, but it's also in Spanish. And when you're speaking on the, English speaking CBS, it's not like it's Telemundo. It's not Benevito or whatever other Spanish channel there is out there. It's CBS. And there was no words underneath to say what he was saying. The only time I knew he was saying anything is when they bleeped him out because they knew the Spanish bad word he said. If you're going to speak Spanish, get an interpreter to do some words underneath the screen so we know what he's saying at some point. It makes more sense, because if you're going to bring these Spanish speaking people, and we know Bad Bunny his second language is not English, nor is his third, nor is his fourth. Okay. He's very broken. He's very deep in his speak. It was an issue for me to follow when you're talking and not dancing and not singing. If you're singing and there's a beat to it, I can follow. When you're talking, there's no beat. No, and I'm going to say this in Spanish: no comprende. So that's my issue with that. But Bad Bunny as a whole, he's a good guy from what I've read in English. Then there's DJ Khaled and Mary J. Blige. It's Mary J. Blige's album, Good Morning Gorgeous, was and then the last one, BTS, Selena Gomez, and Coldplay all did an album together. Go figure. Music of the Spheres. I'm actually interested because I do like Coldplay, so I'd probably listen to that. All right, best song. This was the shock of the night, apparently, and a lot of people have said so. Just Like That by Bonnie Raitt. Now, I listened to this before I went on the air tonight. And first time I've ever heard it. Yeah, I listened to it on YouTube. She doesn't have a video that I can see. Now, the words to this song are very interesting. I'm not going to tell you about it. If you don't know the song, Bonnie Raitt, Just Like That, take a listen. It's different. I see why it's Song of the Year. You know, it hits home. To maybe not be your home, but it hits home. So this beat out what I thought was going to win, which it kills me to say I thought it was going to win, about Damn Time by Lizzo. I'm not a fan of Lizzo. I'm not a fan of her mouth. I get her story, and I appreciate her story. I'm not. This is the conservative Christian Catholic in me, which is odd because I'm usually very progressive with that. You know, I'm just not a fan of her using the word of the B word. And like I said, I'm trying not to curse on here because I do know my kids might watch this at some point. I'm trying not to curse in front of them. I don't need them to pick up these words that they might already know. So Jay-Z also, God Did, never heard that song. Easy on Me, I love Adele, love that song. Easy on Me is a great song. I will say I don't think it was as good as Just Like That, but in which I definitely see now. The Heart, Part 5, Kendrick Lamar, don't know. Break My Soul, I almost thought was going to win because it's Beyonce. They want to get her past whoever, you know, to break this record for most Grammys ever. Harry Styles with As It Was. All Too Well, a 10-minute version by Taylor Swift. Really, 10-minute version. I didn't think any musician made 10-minute versions of songs anymore. Bad Habit, not Bad Habits, but Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. And then ABCDEFU, that by I guess somebody named Gail and Sarah Davis. Yeah, never heard of that one. So, new artist, I couldn't name you one. I don't. Excuse me. Hold on. I don't know one of these people. I'm not even going to try to name them all. Maybe you know it. Actually, I will say Main Skin, I think I've heard of. The rest of them I haven't. And the winner was Samara Joy. Good for her. You know, I no ball for the best for her, but I don't know her. Don't know anything about her. But record of the year did go to Lizzo, About Damn Time. And pretty much everybody else who was on the list before for song was on this list. Difference is Woman by Doja Cat and Good Morning Gorgeous by Mary J. Blige, which I did hear Good Morning Gorgeous yesterday too for the first time. And that's a good song. I'm uploading that song. That's a good song. Rap album of the year. Can't say I've listened to one of these, and I used to listen to rap. Yeah, and I'll get to the best performance, which I just saw a little bit before. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar. No, can't say I've ever heard of it. So congratulations to Kendrick Lamar on that. Best music video. I haven't seen a good music video in a while. Honestly, I've watched here and there. I haven't seen a good music video in a while. So, you know, Taylor Swift won All Too Well. Good for the short film. Good for her. Best pop duo. I've heard this song. I'm not a fan. I learned a lot with this acceptance speech that I didn't know. If you know the song Unholy, it's Sam Smith with Kim Petras. Did anybody know Kim Petras was transgender before this? I didn't. I had no clue. She looks very much like a woman, and I did not know that she was a man prior. But you know what? Good for her. She's all about herself now. She, you know, like I said, she looks like a woman, up and down. So, you know, good for her, a transgender woman, and a gay man to sing a song called Unholy, and they won for pop group performance. And didn't beat anybody that, you know, I don't know the songs, although I kind of want to know what Bam Bam is. I've never heard that song, and I love Camila Cabello. And Ed Sheeran, I'd go pay to see. So, anyway. And actually, I will say, I Like You, a Happier song by Doja Cat and Post Malone. That's actually kind of a cute video. It's not the best video in the world, but, you know, it is what it is. This intrigued me. This old man is still rocking and he's still winning. Ozzy Osbourne won the best rock album, Patient Number 9. Beat out Idols, Spoon, Elvis Costello, and Imposters. Why is Elvis Costello in rock? I have a question. Elvis Costello is like, he's like folk. He's not rock. Anyway, Black Keys and Machine Gun Kelly. I'm honestly saying I'm glad Machine Gun Kelly lost. I can't stand him. I just he it just annoys me. I don't know why. I do know why, but I'm not going to state it out loud. Song for Social Change. Beret Chevron Hajapur. I didn't see this at all. Country Solo. This shocked the crowd. The crowd, I think most people dropped their mouths. Willie Nelson won for country solo performance for Live Forever, beating out Maren Morris, Kelsey Ballerini, Zach Bryan, and Miranda Lambert. That's crazy. Willie Nelson, God bless. That's amazing. I mean, of course, he wasn't there. I hope he's okay. Either that or he's token. Who knows? So, metal performances. This Degradation Rules. I have to see that. I've been so stuck in 80s and 90s. I just, I've been trying to relive my past, I guess, a little bit recently. But Degradation Rules, I got to remember that. I got to listen to that. I love Ozzy as a whole. I got to listen to that. And Megadeth will be back. Who knew Megadeth was back? Wow. That's awesome. Music film. I'm not even going to get into that. Musical theater. Go figure. Into the Woods. Well, that's one of my favorite musicals. Not my favorite musical, but it's one of my favorites. Good for them that they won. Billy Crystal was up for that too. No wonder Billy Crystal was there. I was wondering why he was actually there. He presented for something. I do forget what, but he was a nominee for Mr. Saturday Night, which I would have loved to see. I just can't get up to New York City to watch a musical. R&B song. Are we surprised? This is what tied her. It tied Beyonce for all-time wins. Cuff It. Great song. Cuff It. Beat out PJ Morton, Jasmine Sullivan, Mooney, I think I'm saying that right, Long, and Mary J. Blige's Good Morning, Gorgeous. Yeah, I'm not even going to acknowledge rap. To me, none of this is rap. Pop solo performance, Adele, she won. No big shock. She beat Harry Styles, as it was, which was a little surprise. And it was about damn time. I didn't know Bad Bunny made a song that actually was in English, but it looks like it is. Moscow Mule. That's different. So dance recording, maybe she did beat it because she won this, Break My Soul. This might have been also one of the ones prior that got her the win. So there's a lot more. Like I said, so the show was actually not that bad. They did run a little long from what I understand. I didn't watch the whole thing. Beth did actually. And she's the one that showed me the R&B 50th anniversary of hip hop and R&B. And I got to rewatch it again because I didn't catch really everybody and everything. I want to see who I didn't actually see. But that is probably one of the best Grammy performances we've had in the last 10 years. All those people, all those rappers. Busta Rhymes busting it up. I mean, I love that. I love Busta Rhymes. He curses a lot, yeah. He says the N-word a lot, yeah. But you know what? I'm not listening to see. Let me tell you why this white kid from Eatontown listens to rap. It's what I grew up with. It was in our neighborhood. This is what we listened to. We listened to Run DMC. We listened to all this. Cool, not Cool in the Gang. I'm forgetting a lot of guys, which is, that's my memory going. But I listened to this. Queen Latifah, the one I was a little upset not there, and Beth mentioned that she heard, what it was either later that night or sometime today that Eminem wasn't there, and him and Dre were not there, and that kind of surprised me. No Dre, no Snoop, no Eminem, and that is hip hop. That is R&B, more hip hop than R&B. they needed to be on there, and they weren't, and that kind of blew me over. I was a little annoyed, but everything else was pretty good. Missy Elliott, oh, she's a doll. I love listening to her. Who else? Yeah, like I said, I gotta watch it again. And I gotta, I called him Mace. Nelly was on doing one of my favorites. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I love that. I love that song. All right, so let me get off the topic of Grammys. Go to a little bit of football. Let me knock this down. All right. So, if anybody watched the new NFL Pro Bowl and you saw the games that they played prior to the actual three flag football games. Interesting how the AFC pretty much dominated the games, minus the dodgeball. Which is funny because the quarterbacks of the AFC minus Huntley were good. Like Huntley, it still bothers me that he was one of the quarterbacks there. Now, interestingly enough, it was when they played football, the NFC was better. So that just leads me to believe that they were there for the game and not for the little mini games that they were playing. I think it's fun for the fans more than anything else. And I heard one football player, actually. Oh, I could be using these. What am I doing? So I have. Okay, I didn't see that. Oh, and I forgot about Viola Davis winning the EGOT. She won a Grammy last night, which gave her the coveted EGOT. When you win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and Tony Award. All right. So the flag football debuts. So here's some things from. Looks like it was. I think I got it from Apple or SI or something like that. NFC beat AFC 35-33 in this weekend's Pro Bowl games. In the revamp, featuring a series of skill competitions, 3 separate flag football games. The AFC, coached by Peyton Manning, won 5 of the 8 skills competitions, but NFC, coached by Eli Manning, won 2 of the flag games to emerge victorious. Sunday's hero was Kirk Cousins. Surprise, surprise. So, excuse me. A theme among players and fans was how much they enjoyed being able to see the players' facial expressions and personalities. And that's what I was getting to. That the fact that you could see these guys now for the first time, basically, that they're like baseball players and basketball players, where you can actually see them playing and doing something for their sport. Now, one personality didn't like it. Josh Jacobs, Las Vegas Raiders running back. Funny that he didn't like it because, and I'll kind of blank his word. This blank is stupid. Okay, that's what he said. This blank is stupid. Now, funny how he said that's stupid, because now if he didn't play too well, then he didn't take it to heart, because the NFC who won, actually each player who was a Pro Bowler and played earned $84,000 for those 2 days. They skipped Saturday, and that's actually my issue too. They had it Friday and Sunday. Why not put it Saturday and Sunday? Why do you got to put it for an hour on a Friday night instead of Saturday? And then Sunday, why was the game at 3:00? It's prime time. This is NFL. Think a little. You should have prime timed it. You didn't. You acquiesced to ESPN, it looked like. That's what I saw. Anyway, and then, like I said, the payouts to the AFC was $42,000 each. That's not chump change. I'm not saying how much I make, but it's a little over that. I'm making a little over what they made in one day. Okay? One day. I'd love to make that in one day. Most of us would like to make that one day. So, seems like the Pro Bowl was long overdue for a makeover. Obviously, that's a duh. And shifting to flag was a way to inject new life into the event. Whether it worked or will ultimately come down to TV ratings, which if this is now, these are last year's TV ratings, 2022's TV ratings. MLB All Star had 7.5 million by the numbers. NFL Pro Bowl 6.7. I'd gather that's going to go up. I think they're going to be bigger than MLB All Star just because of the new things that they did. NBA All Star 6.3. You know what? I could talk about this now real quick. NBA All Star game. I'm done watching you. You know what I'll watch though? The dunk contest and 3-point. The skills in the NBA are better, more entertaining, and I will say with the dunk contest, we need better judges. Give me judges who have won a dunk contest before, who have been in a dunk contest before. Don't give me a Lil Rel. Okay, he was in a movie with Kyrie. That's fine. That doesn't qualify him as a dunk contest judge. Give it to people who've won. Dominique, Nate Robinson. Give it to those guys. Here's a funny one. 2012 MLS All-Star Game beat the Hockey All-Star Game by 300,000 people. 1.5 to 1.3 million. Hockey's more entertaining. They're fast. They're way more entertaining. I'm a little surprised at that. But, a lot of. All right, next, we're going to go to a little there we go. We're going to go to some news items, in essence. So I'm not sure you heard this. Let me go up on this a little bit. Special guest to the Super Bowl. To Super Bowl 57. His pregnant wife's doctor. I heard this last night and I almost fell off the couch. So he says, I'm bringing Kylie's parents. I'm bringing the girls. Kylie's bringing her doctor because she's going to be 38 weeks pregnant at the game, Jason said. It could be a Super Kelsey Bowl. he's trying to cuten it up, is what he's trying to do. And he said this, if I could see. No, okay, not there. He said this on his podcast, New Heights podcast. So, and I haven't seen Wednesday's podcast yet. Maybe I did. I saw last week's. Maybe I didn't see the whole thing. It's a 2-hour podcast. I'm hopefully not going to be 2 hours today, although I'm at 33 minutes already. So that's an interesting tidbit, that the 94 WIP put out there. Let's see, who was the author? Lou DiPietro. That was an interesting article, Lou. Got to say. All right. So next article. Where does Andy Reid rank in the pantheon of NFL coaches? Well, according to this article by Gilbert Radio, wherever they are, Reid compiled a record of 130, 93-1 during his 14 seasons with the Eagles and 10-9 in the playoffs, but he never won the big game. Obviously, we know he went to 1, didn't win. Eagles lost in the NFC Championship 4 times, and Reid's lost, obviously, the Super Bowl. And then down here, Reid already has the 5th most wins by an NFL coach in history at 247. 247 wins, and is 3 wins behind Tom Landry, Dallas Cowboys coach from the early 70s to the late 80s. So he's 3 behind him, but he's far behind Belichick. Steady 3rd, 298, and that's still going because he's still the coach. So, good. It's going to be interesting. If Andy's not old, he's not young, but he's not old. I think he could get close to Belichick. We'll see. And it says even here in this, statistically very interesting, with the exception of the first 2, even 3, although he got hurt. Kevin Kolb, Jeff Garcia, Alex Smith, Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, and of course Mahomes all had their best statistical or winningest seasons under Reid. Says a lot. I mean, how many quarterbacks can say that about Parcells, about Belichick, Think about it. With Belichick, it's one. It's Brady. That's it. With Parcells, did he have a great quarterback ever? I love Sims. I like Hostetler. Who did he have in Dallas? Did he have Romo or somebody else? Parcells had no great quarterback. This is the one guy minus Lombardi that had a great quarterback. I have to say he's not probably number 2 or 3 when it comes to all time. You got to put Parcells and or Belichick at 2 or 3. And he's the only guy up there with Belichick right now. No, there's nobody else. Cowher, he stopped doing it. So will he win this next one? Whether he does or not, I'll answer that a little bit later. All right. Now I'm going to turn to a little bit of baseball. The Yankees' current depth chart. And I pulled this off today. This is today's current depth chart as we know it. So Garrett, Cole, Rodon, Nestor 3, Severino 4, and Montas 5. Now, obviously, these two guys are in 6 and 7. They're going to be the relievers to start. If not both, will be relievers to start, and they will fill in for anybody who gets hurt. Now, Herman's got better stuff, but Clark Schmidt, I think, has the higher ceiling. Herman has had his moments. He needs to be consistent. Consistency is key for most of these back of the line rotation pitchers. Now, the bullpen, I don't see any issue. Got two new guys. What is this? No, we got nobody. Weiser, he's the only one I see now. We've had all these guys have been in there before. Albreu, Canely, Garcia, Marinaccio, King. I'll talk about King in a little bit. Trevino, Peralta, Loaizaga, and I bet you Clay Holmes will stay the closer. He's got all. I hate to say it like this. He's got all the right stuff. He's going to be the closer. Although I could see King, down the road. So here's our triumvirate of catchers. You got Jose Trevino, Kyle Higashioka. I'm going to hope to say this name right. Ben Rorvit. I know I screwed that up horribly. The only reason Ben has a shot to be on this team is because he's a lefty. And I think he could be better than Higgy. And I hate to say it because I like Higgy. I really do. But I think it's, I don't know. If it's not C'est La Vie Higgy, then Ben's going to be in AAA for a little bit because these two, they're not going anywhere. And Jose, he battled. He's a keeper. For what we're paying him, he's a keeper. First base, Rizzo, LeMahieu. I hope they have LeMahieu other places because LeMahieu is never going to play first base unless he's spelling Rizzo. Second base, Glaber, LeMahieu, Cabrera. Well, obviously, DJ's going to spell second base. Although, why do I got a funny feeling? Nope. Okay. See, this is where I got the issue. DJ should be the third baseman. They need to find a way to get rid of this guy more than anything else. I think we should get rid of Glaber too, but then, see, this is my theory on what how would we be better. If you somehow get rid of him, and you put this guy out too, who's this left fielder, supposed left fielder. You could put DJ at second base. You could put Cabrera at third, and Peraza and Isaiah kind of for left. I figure go back and forth because they both can. Honestly, Peraza can play second. Peraza can play third. I think it's IKF that can't play anything. So that's just me. And then Hicks goes. You got Florial. Why can't Florial or Cabrera, either one, play left field? And then Stanton back them up when need be. Harrison Bader, easily your left center fielder, and Aaron Judge, easily your right. I'm pretty satisfied with our team, minus, like I said, Donaldson needs to go, and so does Hicks, and Torres. If you could find the right deal for the three of them to go somewhere else, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I just don't know that they have that. Now, getting back to the pitchers and Michael King specific, I'm not sure if anybody remembers this guy. He was really good. There was an article written back on January 23rd, and this I kind of skipped it last week. I'll go over real quick. Life couldn't be going much better for Mike King after years of toiling in a middling process as a middling prospect. The right-hander has suddenly transformed into an elite reliever for the first place Yankees, the team he loved growing up in Rhode Island. He was nearly selected to the first American League All-Star squad. $1 million payday in the offseason seemed likely. He was just months from proposing to his girlfriend in late July. Then, late out of nowhere, on the mound in Camden Yards, like the morning mist over the neighboring Baltimore Harbor, everything King had worked for immediately seemingly vaporized. I felt my elbow pop, he told The Athletic. I didn't know what was going on, but deep down, King had a clue. Weeks of conceding his pain had finally led to the destruction of one of the bones of his elbow that few people know even existed. He fractured his... Whoa, hold on. That's a big word. He fractured his olecranon crown, the tip of his elbow. It's a relatively rare injury in major leagues, according to this Dr. Armin Tirani, a Manhattan-based orthopedic surgeon. Called it a rare injury among fully developed athletes. That sucks. I tell you, this is why I like reading The Athletic. They got some really good stories, but they're really depressing. Some of them, anyway, especially the life of an athlete. It goes on with, talking with his teammate Clay Holmes, who's now the closer. If you don't know what he looks like, that's who he is. Let me get the picture right there. That's him. Nope, other way. There we go. He's a good kid. And if you don't know, his music that he walks into, his sister made. His sister's a music artist. I forget her name. I uploaded the song. The song's called "Down with the King," not the RDMC Run DMC version. Obviously, she made her own "Down with the King." It's pretty interesting. They go on to talk about his UCL and how he got an X-ray. Same day the Yankees had put Severino on COVID IL. And the month prior, back in relievers Chapman and Loizaga and Chad Green all got hurt. He had Tommy John surgery. The next month, Marinaccio and Castro. That's right. They all got hurt. So you wonder why we didn't get to the playoffs or we get too far into the playoffs last year. Every bloody pitcher went down in the bullpen. Hey, we need health this year. That's what this whole list of guys. We need health. We don't need any. And then if we have guys in AAA, if these guys become unhealthy at some point, we need constant health. That's the only way it's going to happen. Like I say, people must be watching Raw tonight because I got nobody watching. That's fine. There's other things doing on Monday night. I get that. But yeah, 0 people. not even my fiance is watching. But I think she's going to want to watch later. So, all right. So again, it just goes on and on about, if I read too much, you're going to either fall asleep watching or flip it off. So I do have more than a few more things to talk about because there were a few more things that happened. Oh, I kept the depth chart thing then. Okay, that's a rare injury I was talking about. All right, so I have to talk about this. Let me get this off. So I'm sure if you're a fan of anything sports, you heard this today. Kyrie Irving got traded to the Dallas Mavericks and with another Nets player for 2 players and draft picks in 2029. So here's the actual. I printed it out. So the Nets are sending Kyrie and Markieff Morris to the Mavericks. And the Mavericks are sending back Dorian Finney-Smith, a very good defender from what I heard today. So the Nets actually could do better in their 4th role than they previously thought with this guy. Plus Spencer Dinwiddie, who's replacing Irving and who was with the Nets prior to Irving. So he knows the Nets. I think KD's going to like this team. Now, the last stuff, I don't think anybody's going to be there in 6 years. Any of these people, the general management, the players, they have 2 sorry. This actually shocked me how far away this is. 1 unprotected 2029 first-round draft pick and 2 second-round picks, which I'm assuming are 2029. That's insanity, 2029. I can't even think past probably 2024 because of the Marvel universe. They're talking about 2029. So whilst that Irving and Kevin Durant signed with the Nets in the summer of 2019 on their deals, now in the 3+ seasons they played on the same team, they only appeared in 74 games together. Now there's 81 games in a year, in a season, 81. Or it's 82, one of the two. So you're looking at 226, 223, something like that. So not even a third of the time. They wasted a lot of money. This is why they had no problem trading him. And from every report heard, he wanted to go to the Lakers. LeBron wanted him to come to the Lakers. You know why the owner, and this is a guess, but it was reported as a possibility, and knowing people who know this owner think is that they sent him to Dallas out of spite because they didn't want to send him to a place that he wanted to go to. Good for them to do that. For all the BS that Kyrie put that team through, and I'm not even a Nets fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I laughed at all that stuff. I thought it was funny. So now the Mavs have to take this risk. Acquiring Irving instantly improved their title shots, which is interesting. They're the 6th seed in the West. So if he plays every game, this should help them out. But he ultimately has it's a 5-month rental. This is, again, he probably wants to go to LA, even though now LeBron next year will be a year older. Do you really think LeBron and him and everybody else can work together? That's a soap opera in 2024 is what that is. So to go back to the trade, what was reported, the Lakers offered Russell Westbrook and 2 first-round picks, according to Shams Chanara. And the Suns offered Chris Paul and picks. I would have taken Chris Paul. He's a very good point guard still, and a pretty good bowler. I would have taken Chris Paul in those picks. Nothing against Dinwiddie and nothing against the defensive guy, I think they took him because they covered more money. But the Lakers must have thought this hysterical when they thought that they could try to trade Russell Westbrook back to the Nets. Now remember, they're not back to the Nets, to the Nets. And back to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City because of him and went to Golden State. I'm a novice NBA guy, and I know this. Do you think the GMs of a basketball team don't know this? Come on. Give me a break. And then LeBron had the gall and the ego to say, to tweet. Let me get that right. He tweeted, "Maybe it's me.
saying after the news broke when he said if Irving could turn the Lakers into and he was asked if Irving can turn the Lakers into a title contender in a locker room interview. He basically said that's a duh question. And I'm quoting there. He said that's a duh question. All right. So I saw this on Facebook just before I came on, actually. And I should actually address this because Denver has a new head coach. Surprise, surprise. Sean Payton is now the new Denver Broncos coach. And I guess the Broncos are giving some type of picks, draft picks, as you know the word I'm talking, the C word. Anyway, so they're giving the picks to New Orleans, and Broncos got Peyton, and now Peyton is saying, interestingly enough, that he has no intention of allowing players to have personal coaches in the building, including Russell Wilson. Does anybody remember a story back in the day when Tom Brady had a personal coach, and then Belichick kind of sort of said he really doesn't want him in here, and then Brady threw a hissy fit? That was the beginning of the end of Brady being in New England, if you remember correctly. This could be the beginning of the end of Russell being in Denver. You know, this is stuff that, you know, they this is stuff they want. This is stuff they ask for. So you're going to tell him he's going to buy him, you know, season tickets for 8 season tickets to be in the stands? Is it that hard for the team to bring him on as a contractor? I mean, seriously, is it that hard? And you make him sign a contract and state that you're going to conform to the ways of the team other than your ways as a personal coach. It's not that hard to do. Why does a 46-year-old New Jersey guy who's never played an ounce of organized football know this? It's disturbing at the very least. Anyway, so next, I wanted to talk about this last week, but now I have it. An early mock draft for the 2023 class, according to Eric Edholm of NFL.com. So I'm not going to go through every pick, but understand these notes and remember this is important for coming up in the draft. Number one, the NFL announced in August that the Miami Dolphins will forfeit their 2023 first round pick and their 2024 third round pick following that investigation and whether the team violated league policies pertaining to the integrity of the game. Now, remember what that was the coach who said he was told to lose. If you forgot, that's what it is. I remember that very well. And all my Miami friends, Tim and Michelle Farrell, Eric Josephson. I know it doesn't hurt you because you understand it was coming. You knew it was coming. You remember it was coming. What you need is a quarterback. That's what you need. But especially with Tua, he's probably not coming back if he is at all. But again, they don't have a draft pick, so they're gonna have to probably get a quarterback in the second round of this New Year draft. And also remember that the order of number 30 and 31 is not determined yet, obviously because of the Super Bowl. So they got the Bears picking first. Remember they won one less game than the Texans. They got them taking Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Not a bad pick. They need defense. There's no doubt. Bryce Young going to Houston. That's a given. Alabama quarterback going to Houston. That is absolutely a given. This guy, that's easy. And it says it right here. With J.J. Watt's retirement, an edge rusher, they need one. He's going to start. Will Anderson Jr. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I don't think they're picking him as their quarterback. You're going to see a little farther down. I think they're picking him. I think Indy's going to pick C.J. Stroud. Maybe I need to see Will Levis more. He might be more of a stud than I thought. I think C.J. Stroud's going to Indy. In Indy, it's as Detroit. It's close enough to Ohio State where any Ohio State fan is going to be rooting for either one of these teams. Although I really don't think they want to root for a Detroit team because it's Michigan. They'll root for Indiana because there's nothing in Indiana that matters about them rooting for. I think he's going to the Colts. That's just me. I'll say right now. I know we're like 6 weeks, 8 weeks away from it, maybe longer. Maybe it's May. I don't know. It's late April. But I really think that C.J. Stroud's going for it, and then maybe he goes 6 to Detroit. Will Levis. All right, I'll go through. Let's see the Philadelphia Eagles. So they have the 10th pick, even though they're in the Super Bowl, and it's via New Orleans. Remember A.J. Brown? Yeah, this pick came to Philly. Go figure. They get A.J. Brown. No, A.J. Brown was Tennessee. I don't remember why New Orleans now. I'm sure I'll find out. So they have him getting a cornerback, and you know what this means for if they do pick up a cornerback, guess who's gone? Bradbury. Bye Bradbury. Don't come back to the Giants either. Jets will take you. Jets, you go play with Sauce Gardner. So Houston has 2 picks, and they think that they're also going to get a edge rusher, and that's a good name. That's a good football name, Lucas Van Ness. That's a name out of redshirt sophomore out of Iowa. Jets, yeah, they definitely need an O-line. Someone's got to block for Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, or Lamar Jackson. I really think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Raiders. The more I think about it, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. All right, so I'm not going to go to New England. A tight end for Aaron Rodgers, if he stays. Interesting. See, now this intrigues me. Washington Commanders. Cornerback? Is that what they need? They don't need a quarterback? I don't know. And maybe they need a running back, but that's just me. All right, let's see. Detroit was the second one. They take a cornerback, supposedly. Now, go to the Giants. I kind of like this one. I looked it up. There's only one other wide receiver that goes before this guy. Chargers. This guy, Jordan Addison Jr. out of USC. Staying home. This guy thinks he's staying home and going to LA. Now, I didn't look this guy up, but if he's as big as he is and he's a playmaker with burst 50-50 skills, like it says here, this is our number 2. And I don't care if Wandell or Isaiah is number 1. Make either one number 1 because this is Quentin Johnston will be number 2. And if I'm correct, Isaiah is in the slot. You put Quentin on the side. He's your big guy. And Wandale is your number 3 target, which will be good because Juju's his number 3 target in Kansas City, and he gets a lot too, as long as he catches it. And then Dallas with a wide receiver out of Ohio State. This kid played well. I've seen enough Ohio State games now. I feel the last 3 or 4 Ohio State games that I saw. Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's good. He's solid. He'll be good for Dallas if they pick him up. All right, that everybody else. Musgrave, he's a good tight end too. I saw him in Oregon State a couple times when they played him on TV. So let me remove that. Going to go to a few other news notes, sports news notes. In the sports world, Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of which, wins the Pebble Beach. He won the Pebble Beach Pro-Am on Sunday alongside professional partner Ben Silverman. An accomplishment that Rodgers has now said, quote, always been on my bucket list. Well, I guess that's one off his bucket list. All right, Duke gets revenge. Duke beat University of North Carolina last night, or Saturday night at home, 63-57. The first meeting since the last year's Final Four thriller. Third time in the last 6 meetings that both teams were unranked. Go figure that one. Two teams in North Carolina, completely unranked. That's called parity. That's the definition of parity in basketball. And we've hit an hour. Okay. So NFL concussions are up. They rose 18% this NFL season per the league, which said the increase was driven partly by new protocols that broaden and strengthen the definition of the concussion. I can't say I disagree with that. It sounds like that would be one of the reasons why. I don't know if it's the main reason. Maybe some of the worst bad hits that they've been hitting too that people don't know how to tackle properly. I'm not into this, but I know a few people are. Featherweight Amanda Soriano and junior lightweight Alicia Bumgarner won Saturday night in Manhattan to become undisputed champions. So they're both in, I guess, in different weight classes. Now this I know somewhat because I did watch him at the very end of his career. The Dodgers will retire Fernando Valenzuela as number 34 in a ceremony this summer. The two-time World Series champion and 1991 Cy Young winner will be the 12th Dodger to have his number retired. Congratulations to Fernando Valenzuela. That is an awesome thing. And it's not on the list up there, but I guess in Florida they had the All-Star weekend for hockey. Matthew Tkachuk was named All-Star MVP, leading the Atlantic Division in victory with 4 goals and 3 assists. And look, he won a car. Isn't that interesting? Hockey players get cars now instead of money, I guess, or whatever. This was a shock. Now, college fans or people who were kind of into college, and the college thing is coming up, the NCAA tournament. In Bloomington, Indiana, number 21, Indiana, upset number 1, Purdue. How many number ones have gone down this year? At least 5, 6? And I'm not even paying attention. There's a lot of number ones not doing well right now. And at home on Saturday, and fans stormed the court, for their first win over a number 1 team in a decade. It's pretty damn good. First number 1 team he beat in a decade. And then Hartford, Connecticut, Aaliyah, Boston, and number 1 South Carolina beat number 5 UConn. When was the last time UConn was number 5? I mean, I've been out of women's basketball for a while, like since high school. So that's going on 30 years. But yeah, UConn has never been bad. Wow, number 5. Okay. Now for those NASCAR fans that I have, which I don't know if I have any, other than Beth, who used to watch. Martin Truex won NASCAR's season opening exposition at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, emerging victorious at the Busch Light Clash after 150 sloppy laps. I got to say this with this race. I saw something on, I want to say CBS. It might have been Paramount. I don't know. There was some drama in the first one. If you can go back to last year, 2022, in the last year's events, if you can find it, there was some very interesting people that were not happy with each other. It's a pretty interesting, sport when you're watching the last 5 laps. As a New Jersey boy, grown, born and raised, I don't know NASCAR. It's not my bread and butter. But to you that do know it, Truex won. I hear he's a good guy. It's one of the Bushes that aren't. So, all right. So my next point of news, it's not sports related at all. It actually piqued my interest when I read this morning. Netflix coming to what was Fort Monmouth. Lionsgate coming to Newark. Time for me to write my manuscript for a new show or series. So it was a report on an Asbury Park Press by Michael Diamond. He's a business reporter. And he said filmmakers have spent more than $650 million in New Jersey in 2022. $650 million. It's insane. 30% more than the year before. Netflix is looking to spend 850 million to turn the former Fort Monmouth into a production facility. Sign me up. I am going to write something. Sometime down in the near future. I have already somewhat started. I put a title and some a log line and started an outline. That's as far as I've gone. I looked up how to do a manuscript because I know how to write. I know how to write a story. I don't know how to write it in a manuscript. That's what I want to do. That I want to be able to write something that can be made into a show like a Stranger Things or a 90210, like a series, a show. That would be awesome. I'd love to be an executive producer or something like that. That would make me so happy that I can go so far outside my box that I could do something like that. Again, that's a pipe dream, but let's see if I can make that a reality. Nevertheless, this is going to bring a lot of jobs into this area. Netflix, Lionsgate, and there's even something coming into Bayonne. And there's some stage and it says it in here. It's an article, like I said, by Michael Domino, Asbury Park Press today. Today's published today. So that's that. Like I said, the manuscript, like I said, if it gets off the ground, you guys will know. And I'll be talking about that more. All right. Got more than a few more things. So it's not great news, but it needs to be reported. Earthquake in Turkey and Syria currently. What? Oh man, I do not know how to type. Hold on a second, people. I gotta redo this. No, not that's not what I want to do. Hold on. I did the wrong number on that. And we'll go back to. We'll do birthdays in a little bit. Go back to that. 2,000 killed, and millions are without power. So this said 1,500, but it was updated within the last 2 hours that 1,500 people is up down to 2,000 killed. And a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the region. Now, people who don't know the area, Turkey is in the Middle East. It's in the north part of the Middle East, south of Russia, south of all the Russian little states, including Ukraine. And Turkey and Syria border each other. If you don't remember the Syrian fleeing, the people of Syria fleeing because of the dictator there, that I've known that area since I was a little kid. I am part Syrian myself. I don't look it. Obviously you see no Syrian here, but my last name is. So, I think about Syria a lot. I think about what was and what could be. But, I feel for the people who have had to struggle now in this strongest earthquake that they've experienced in more than 100 years, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Dozens of aftershocks, some measured over 7.5. That's crazy. I mean, if anybody can remember the San Francisco earthquake of '89 during the World Series, that was bad. This sounds worse. So this was the big story over social media yesterday. Spy balloon. So the U.S. military shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon Saturday as it drifted off the East Coast near Carolinas. Now, I first heard about this from friends and other people on Facebook, and they took pictures of this balloon. How they found out it was a spy balloon at that point, I don't know. But China is actually denying that they did this, even though, as I read on, they also may have put a balloon somewhere in South America. So they're looking to spy on a bunch of people. Then that's pretty much it there. There was Australia. There was a first annual. This is interesting. So let me get off the spy balloon. So in Australia, there was this thing that started called the Cole Classic Ocean Swim on Sunday that raised over 100,000 for charity, and 4,600 swimmers participated in this. Oh, wait, it says the 41st. Why is it? Oh, it's because it's a record. That's why it's a record. And this is a gorgeous area. I can say what it look like. That is absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, you can go on YouTube. Thousands Take the Plunge. It's on YouTube there, so you can see that. So it's 9:10 now. What's on tonight? So good basketball matchup tonight. Trailblazers and Bucks. Antetokounmpo and Lillard. So this is the last game basically for them before the trade deadline. And Lillard either wants to go or have people come to him. I'd love to see him as a Knick. I don't see the trade happening. That would be great. But that's just not going to happen. And the Clippers are on right now against the Nets. Now this is obviously the now Kyrie Irving-less Nets. So they're playing right now, and I'm wondering how that's going right now. That's probably why people aren't watching too. That's a big game right now. Is the Clippers at Nets? Supposedly Clippers wanted Kyrie too, but that obviously didn't happen. NHL Lightning versus Panthers is on ESPN Plus. NCAA Duke, who beat UNC, is at number 23 Miami, and number 10 Texas is playing at number 8 Kansas. Women, it's number 13 Virginia Tech against number 15 NC State. And that's that. Let's go to today's birthdays. All right. So there's a few birthdays today. One very, very special one that I referenced yesterday. Not yesterday. Wow. My week's going. Not yesterday, but last week. Okay. So here she is. Rochelle Rogers, my stepdaughter. 22 years old today. Hope she had a great day. I still remember holding her for the first time. And it's a story for another day, and I'm not going to put it here in public when I held her. But it was a very special moment for me. I fell in love with her from the get-go. And when I was able to, fall in love with her mother time and then, get with her and then marry her, that was some good times then at the time. So, but she's moved on. She's moved south. She's in South Carolina doing her thing. I hope she had a great day. My little grandson, Preston, is doing well too. And again, Rochelle, happy birthday and kisses. Next birthday, my Amazon sister from Robbinsville, Becca Gerard, 42 years young. Only reason I said her age is because it is on Facebook, so I feel like I can say it out loud. She was one of my best water spiders I ever worked with. And, and she's a photographer too. She's a freelance photographer. So if anybody needs a freelance photographer, see that name, look her up. That's who you're looking for. I see I have one. I think that's probably Beth there. So Eleanor Lazuski, my mom's regional friend from my high school years. So when I was dating Jen, that's who I knew many people, and she was one of them. Happy birthday. Today's your birthday. All right. Upcoming birthdays. We're going to go through these quick because I'm already at an hour and 14 minutes. Okay. Tomorrow, Kevin Gunther. Happy birthday. I know Kevin through the theater, Main Street Theater Company, and now I think it's Woodbridge, not Sayreville, but they're somewhere. And then Colleen Brady, my former neighbor from across the street in Kramer Avenue in Eatontown. It's her birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday. On Wednesday, Manny Remolgado. Manny, I know you'll watch later sometime because that's what you say you always do. Happy birthday on Wednesday. I'm sure I'll see you on Wednesday and tell you that. Jeff Blumenthal, my buddy from down south who got my football pool this year. I believe he's a mailman too. I think both Bloom brothers are mailmen. I could be wrong. But Jeff, it's Jeff's birthday on the 8th, and Glenn Conover, my buddy from Eatontown, who's I believe a fireman now, and it works with my brother, one of my brothers, and my father. And good, working with my father is a skill, I will say. So Glenn, happy birthday to you. Okay, Thursday, got a couple. Another Amazon brother. I got a lot of Amazon brothers and sisters, just so you all know. Joe Bradley, another Amazon brother who was also a water spider. We were a pretty big brotherhood sisterhood. We stuck together. And Joe, happy birthday on the 9th. Mike Zaley, Big Mike. He's not so big anymore. He bowler from down in, and this is going to take you back. Monmouth Lanes days. Monmouth Lanes. If you all know what Monmouth Lanes was, you probably know Mike Zaley. Happy birthday, Mike. Got a couple more dates this week. So upcoming weekend, Greg Monteleone, my brother from Acme. And then a retired UPS driver, Mark Timlin from the Eatontown, Tinton Falls area. He was a driver. He retired a little bit ago. Their birthday's on Friday. On Saturday, I see this guy almost every week at the Acme. He's the Acme manager in Clark, Ken Stocco. Happy birthday on Saturday. I hope not to see you on Saturday because you should be off on your birthday. And lastly, for the birthdays, since I'll be back on Monday, first and foremost, the mother to Rochelle's, who I said happy birthday to, Rebecca Rogers, my ex-wife. Yes, I'm saying happy birthday to my ex-wife because Cash will probably see her current husband. Happy birthday, Rebecca, on, looks like, Sunday. Kenny McLeod as well, my bowler and Eatontown friend. Laura Carter, my high school friend from a long time ago. Happy birthday. And Crystal Mancia, bowler from, I want to say Howell, but I'm not definite. I bowled in almost every house in this county, including Seagirt, which is now closed. Crystal Mancia, birthday also February 12th birthday. So, I said everything's on the Super Bowl boxes now. The numbers are picked, and there, like I said, there's no more reason to in the playoff pool. I already updated everybody, so that's that. Now, remember I said Kelsey's not another reality show yet, and the first brothers to face each other in the Super Bowl. So, I'll show you what I posted on my Facebook page today as my profile picture. Something that they that the NFL put up on okay. This is taking time. I don't know why it's taking its time. Give me a I only have 3 things up, so this should not be taking this long. See profile picture. So when I add it to the stream. So this popped up maybe less than 12 hours after both players won the Super Bowl. Kelsey brothers, first pair of brothers to face off in Super Bowl. Almost looks like the Step Brothers trailer movie picture, movie poster. That's what it kind of looks like. But then, like I said, is this the week of the Kelsey's TV show series in the making? I'd love to see it. They already got a podcast. Why not give them a TV show? You know, this guy right here about to have a baby. We talked about it earlier. His wife is bringing their doctor to the Super Bowl in case she gives birth at the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be a trip? You know, obviously they're not going to have that on TV unless Rihanna helps give birth. That's a joke. All right, so let's get off of that. Let me get out of Facebook. This is what is very interesting. CBS Sports ranking the starters of the Super Bowl by Pete Briscoe. Okay, now they got Mahomes, Jones, 1, 2, 3. That's kind of a diss to Jalen Hurts, isn't it? Shouldn't Jalen Hurts be 2? If you got you got Pat Mahomes 1. Shouldn't Jalen be 2? You know, Kelsey, I get it, but Mahomes throws to Kelsey and then throws to other people. Jalen is going to get the most points, and he even could be number 1 because he runs a little bit more than Patrick does. So, and they got Kelsey and Johnson ahead of Jalen. How silly is that? Because for as much as these two block, he's going to run around that if they don't. Number 7, no idea who this guy is. Center for Kansas City, Creed Humphrey. How did he get? See, Hassan Riddick, number 9. That man, Hassan Riddick. If anybody's going to be in front of Jalen Hurts, it's Hassan Riddick. That's silly. This guy wasn't thinking right. It's almost like he had to do a list in like 10 minutes. If I did this list, and I'm not doing it now, it's already been done. I would have done it way different. Darius Slay is 12. Under some of these other guys. I don't buy it. Bradbury's 13? Real Bradbury? Did we not see him miss balls and miss tackles? Yes, he's made some stunning plays, but that's all they were stunning plays. And Devonta Smith is not better than James Bradbury. I kind of focused on this guy because I wanted to see how bad it was, and and people even say on here, if you disagree with it, make sure your emails go to Pete Prisco. Yeah, Pete Prisco. I hope you get a lot of emails because this is not a good list. If I have free time tomorrow, I'll redo this list. Maybe I'll come on special another day and show you your mistakes, Pete, because you really screwed this one up. I think the term is you screwed the pooch. You really did. Now, I'm going to get off this because that guy actually kind of frustrated me. But I did see something on Facebook. Was it Facebook? No, it wasn't Facebook. It was an ESPN or Fox Sports report. It might be NFL.com. Madden Sim predicts. Now, if you don't know what Madden Sims are, I'd pay attention right now. There's a thing called Madden Football for PlayStation, for Xbox. They're game systems, okay? Madden is the top and only football game in the world. So there's a company, that EA Sports, that has a Madden, control area, and people that do these numbers every day. This is where the analytics goes. When it's not used in regular sports, it's used in video games. And this is like a computer simulation, which has been done in the past. Remember, Super Bowls have been done with computer simulations in the past. We're in 2023. We're going to start using video games. It's easier to figure out who's what, when, where, and why. I bet you Amazon is probably doing something too. I just haven't seen it yet. But Madden predicted Eagles to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I didn't put the score because I wanted to tell it. I'm curious if anybody who sees this can guess before I say it. I'll give it 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Eagles beat the Chiefs in the sim 31-17. I don't think it's going to be that low. It's 48 points. I know my brother wants it to be that low. I don't think it's going to be that low. Kevin, sorry. I unless we just go to a field goal game, it's not going to be that low. And now I'll go to this. My Super Bowl 57 pick at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, home of the Arizona Cardinals. New England, remember, in Super Bowl 49, the year after the Giants had their Super Bowl at not Giants. Who was at Giants Stadium? Seattle had beaten Denver. So Seattle went back-to-back Super Bowls. Seattle beat Denver 43-8 in MetLife. In 48. In 50, they go to Phoenix. They lose 28-24 because they threw the ball on 4th down at the 2-yard line instead of running Marshawn Lynch. Okay? Things happen in Arizona. I won't even be surprised if this game goes into OT. Okay? But I'm not calling that. That's my call. Beth isn't on. I don't see anybody on. She must have thought I was going to go too long. This is my pick. Take a picture. I'm picking Philly. Philadelphia 35. Kansas City 27. Total points 62. This is why Beth needs to be on at an hour and 27 minutes. That 62 is her number. She picked 62 points and Philly winning. This would give her the win for first place for the playoff pool. And the NFC boxes would be 5 and the AFC box would be 7 in my Super Bowl pools, which I did not bring down with me. They're probably upstairs. So if this actually comes to fruition, you all can thank me, including Beth. But to something that she said yesterday, and I took this to heart because I had picked the Eagles to lose the last 2 in the divisional and in the conference championship. I don't see it happening now. I see a party and parade going down whatever Broad Street, Main Street in Philly coming on Tuesday. And I know my buddy Kerry's already said he's taking off on Tuesday if the Eagles win on Sunday. And he should. He's an Eagles fan. He should. I'm tempted to tell Beth, go with him. I think she'd love it. But she doesn't know Ahmad, so I don't know if she would. But that's my pick. I don't know if it's a mush pick, but it's a pick. I went 0-2 last week. I went 1-3, I think, the week before. I was doing good up until Buffalo kind of decided not to play in Cincinnati. And, I had a great end of the year. I just did not have a great into the playoffs. Other people did. And I would hope other people would get on with me and debate with me, but that hasn't happened. But I did go an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Wow, 90 minutes of me talking. That's crazy. All right. Well, like I said, if you can stand listening to me for an hour and a half, and if you like what you saw and heard, click the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner. I'm probably not coming back on until next Monday. But if I do, it's because of that guy who doesn't know how to pick players. Okay? So, I'll see everybody next week. I will post it on Facebook and on here. Take care. Peace out. Have a good night.